The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And it's hard to believe, but it's already the winter season. And tonight we're going to invite into the studio head basketball coaches Daphne Thompson and Vince Medici to talk about the upcoming prospects for this year. So stay tuned after the break, and I'll be joined by tonight's first guest, head women's basketball coach Daphne Thompson.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is head women's basketball coach Daphne Thompson. Welcome back to the show, Daphne.
Thank you, Geoff. I'm looking forward to joining you this evening.
You've been practicing for almost a month now, and how's it been going?
It's going really well. I'm really excited. The competitiveness in practice is terrific. We have a really talented group of people, and it's going really well.
Now, you say a talented group. Of course, you brought in 6 new players.
We actually have 7 new players.
7 new players.
6 freshmen and a transfer.
Okay.
So.
And how has that been working out?
I think that they're doing a really nice job of being able to grasp ideas quickly, and we've been able to add more than I've ever added before. Up to our first scrimmage, we have like 4 defenses in and much more offensively, so I'm really excited about where they're at.
So some of them you'll think will compete for starting positions? Now
we definitely have one starting spot that is open. Losing Sarah Christie last year has vacated our point guard position, and we have starting at the beginning, we had probably 4 to 5 people that could have potentially played that position. We're kind of narrowed it down to 2 to 3 at this point, so it's getting there, but I don't think as a coaching staff we're clear on who that person is at this point.
Now the returning players. Why don't we talk a little bit about some of our returning players and the role you think they'll kind of fit into this year?
We have 8 returners, so that's a really and a quality 8. We have actually 4 of the 8 that started last year, so there's a lot of experience in that group, which is going to be helpful. 3 seniors, 2 starters in that group, and Erica Puffer, who is a transfer in. So the very, very talented group of seniors. Our junior class is worked extremely hard and are really looking to, I think, will do some big things for us in Madison Slagle and Samantha Skotak. And then our sophomore class is small again, but I mean, we have our injury returner, Ashley Wellitalk, and we have Kate and Wilverding and Gabby Regan, who are going to contribute quite a bit. So we're excited with what we have.
Now, the seniors that you have, we have Mary Kate O'Connell, Rebecca Bucci.
Yep.
And you said Erica Puffer.
Yep.
Does that experience, now of course Erica's only been with us, this is her second year, right? And Mary Kate and Rebecca have been with us this will be their 4th year, so
correct.
How do they kind of bring the younger players along? I mean, how have they been showing their leadership?
Well, I think with me, this being my 4th year, and they've been with me for 3 and are able to demonstrate to the younger players a lot of what's been going on and the learning process they had that they didn't have as freshmen. It's been really awesome to see the leadership growth in them because they really, I think, have connected with me and have a greater understanding of what I'm trying to do, so they're able to push that down to the underclassmen, which has been helpful with that. Wasn't there before, so It's exciting.
Now, so you say that, I mean, for you, your philosophy, expectations, I mean, what kinds of things do you expect from the whole team, but especially in your leaders?
Well, I've said since the start, the very first meeting I had with them, that this is probably this is my 19th year of coaching, the most talent I've ever had in one team. I've coached, All-Americans and some extremely
NCAA
talented
teams,
people and some NCAA teams, but I've never had the depth that we actually have on this team. There are challenges with that, but it's exciting because, as I said, our competition and practice is at a higher level, so we're going at it every day, and I think we're showing signs of growing quicker because of the competition that's in practice. So, we should be at the top of the conference again. We've been up there in the top 2 or 3 for 3 years. I really feel that we should be right at the top again, and our schedule is going to, afford us to be able to maybe even show signs, if we can win a few games early on, of being a regional team. So.
Right. So now you're saying, as far as your depth goes, after your starting 4, you're going to try and plug in a newcomer to the 5th spot there. How do you think that will? So you'll be able to maybe interchange some of those parts as the season goes on, or how you'll maybe
with
rotation?
with the 8 players that are returning, all of them have the opportunity to be able to step on the floor and play. And then with the incoming players, they're going to do a great job of filling in some spots last year, like at our guard position where we didn't really have a lot of backup pieces to be able to play. We're going to have a lot more things that we can do because we'll have more depth in those spots.
Now, you said our schedule, we certainly have some top 25 schools on our in the early season play.
Correct.
Why don't you talk a little bit about the early season schedule, and maybe we can talk about your trip to Las Vegas to play in the Las Vegas Hoopla tournament.
Yes. All right. Well, we open up at the Skidmore tournament, and last year Skidmore finished the regular season at the top of their conference. They won 21 games. They lost in their conference championship and didn't make it to the NCAA, so I'm sure that they're really, chomping at the bit to get back on the court. But so that'll be a very good tournament for us. Also, St. John Fisher, who finished with a young team, finished in the 4th spot in their conference, so I think that they're going to be, vying to try to be at the top. And then we play Hartwick, and we have our 2 conference games early on that we have to go to the North Country for, which, that's always a challenge.
It's better to get it out of the way in December, though.
It's always a challenge to make that trip, but, we got to be disciplined and get up there and weather the storm as
because now Plattsburgh was an improved team last year. Potsdam has been solid for the last 3 or 4 years. So do you expect them to be the same this year?
I do, because it's good. They both programs have quality coaches, so with that they're going to be recruiting, they're going to bring in players, and they're very capable of putting together a team, so you have to be prepared to play them.
Right, so. Especially on the road. Now when we go to Las Vegas, we're playing Babson,
who's top 20 team, correct.
And we're also playing
Heidelberg.
So
2 teams that I know very little about. I know probably more about Babson than I do Heidelberg. I want to say that earlier in my career, I'd played Babson before, and so I think that'll be exciting. Yeah,
very competitive conference, the NUMAC.
Yes.
So those will be good. Now, do you like to build your schedule with kind of some good early season tests to see how your kids are getting into the season?
I think that by playing teams that you can be competitive with is very important. Sometimes you challenge it. If you challenge yourself too much in the early on, you could really can create some disappointment, or players start to second guess themselves. Right. And you never know what injury is going to come or illness. Last year we started off the season with quite a bit of illness. We had the flu there, losing 3 players and some injuries early on that really put us in a little bit of a hole, but we bounced back and we're very competitive second half. So
we made the SUNY tournament.
Correct.
17-10.
And 14-4 in conference.
In the conference.
So
like you said, we've been in the top 3 for your 3 years, and I think even the year before you got here, we were also in the top. So, do you look at who's going to be the top team? Do you think this year?
I think it's kind of up for grabs.
Oh, good.
More than ever, I believe that the conference is, that number 1 spot is really whoever wants to go out and earn it.
Okay. Now, who are the usual suspects? Are we looking at Cortland, Brockport, Geneseo?
We always have to look at Cortland. You can't rule them out, even though they graduated, the conference player of the year, and All-American. They have a talented group of junior college kids that are coming in, so they're going to be competitive. So we have to show up and play our A game as always when we play them. Right. Geneseo didn't graduate, but I think won. So they have a very talented group back, and they're the only team that beat Cortland last year. So you have to look at them as real contenders. New Paltz graduated 6 seniors last year, but he does a great job and gets players to come. So I think those are probably the usual suspects, but I
Yeah.
don't think you can rule out schools like Oswego. I mean, the one young lady was Rookie of the Year her freshman year, and she's done a great job bringing in players in, so they'll be very competitive. And, I mean, Brockport is Brockport. You know, I mean, they're going to go out and bring players in. So.
Right. And now with our younger players, I mean, how do you get them ready to dive into a collegiate situation?
It's a challenge, I think, and I usually try. I mean, in the best world, you would like to be able to put them out there always in an opportunity to see success right away, because you want them to gain confidence. Some of them are not going to have the luxury of that, so you're going to have to really spend time to try to keep their spirits high and encourage them that they're going to learn on the go, and it's not going to always be perfect, but that they're capable of being out there. And I think as a coach, you really have to recognize that, and because they're in the point guard position, makes it even more challenging, because the ball's in their hand and the opportunity to make mistakes is greater than in other positions.
So as a coach, yes, they have to be out there on the floor, and young mistakes, those kinds of things, and experience. So really, it's the reinforcement of I really wouldn't have you in the game if I didn't think you could play anyway or be here. So those are the kinds of things you try to.
Well, actually, to all of the players, one of my opening statements was that there were no tryouts this year. Every single player on the team was basically hand chosen. So I didn't, I went out in search of you. You are here because I want you to be here. So recognize that your ability is high, because you wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case.
Okay. So, and how do your and then going back to our leaders, our leaders on our team, how do they help you help them make that transition?
Well, I think that our leadership has been very young. Last year was a big challenge, only having one senior and graduating the 5 before. So last year's leadership was a work in progress, and the work has really paid off, because I really believe my 3 seniors and 2 juniors are doing, and actually my 3 juniors, one that's kind of going to be here an extra year, but we have the six of them are doing a great job demonstrating that you have to work hard, that you got to do it every day. Some of the things that we've been able to do this past fall it's been terrific to see the effort that they have put in and demonstrated to the youngsters. This is what you have to do to be successfare
So you're talking about all the stuff that they do, off the court, the conditioning, even their academic work, paying attention to all that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, we put a great emphasis on going to class, on a study hall, and it's run by the students. So, I mean, they're definitely understand coming in how important it is to be on top of your schoolwork. And then, when you talk about being in fit, it's probably, in the top 5 of teams that have come into season ready to play. So, I mean, they did a great job of putting themselves in a position where we could just start right out learning instead of spending so much time trying to get ourselves ready to be on the court playing. So,
do you have vocal leaders? People who are just kind of like.
I mean, I would say that our senior leader is Becca. I mean, she's just one of the hardest working kids that I have, and she demands that from the team, so I think that it's fantastic. She's worked really hard to try to connect with her teammates, something that she knew she needed to do, and she's done a great job of doing that. I think on the floor you'll hear a lot from Sam Skotak. I mean, she's a very talented young lady, but she also understands the game well and is able to verbalize what needs to be done on the court, so that's going to help the 2 of them, and Madison Slagle and Mary Kate being the 4-year, returning players to the starting lineup on top of the 2 seniors having the opportunity to have been in the starting lineup 2 and 3 years is really going to help that person that ends up being that freshman in that starting lineup to be a little more relaxed.
Now, do the leaders, do they complement each other? I mean, you have your vocal leaders, and then you have those ones who are kind of quiet, but yet they kind of get their point across if they need to.
I think Mary Kate does a great job of kind of being that, but with her in block, it makes it a real challenge because she's not around a lot. Yeah. So the person, Madison and Ashley, who are in our leader group, also do a great job of kind of being behind the scenes. Don't say a whole lot, but pay attention to the ones that really need some extra support along the way.
Right, and this is all coupled with all the kinds of community service that you do. Your team always participates in the pit run.
Yes,
and
it's a fabulous
full participation. And they all finished.
Absolutely.
And what do they think about that?
I don't think anybody. I mean, there might be a couple of them that really say, "I'm going to go out and I'm going to race this race, and I'm going to try to get the best time that I can possibly get. But a lot of them, you know, they just do it because that's what we have to do.
Right,
so, you know, and we work on different types of things to try to motivate them and set goals for what they're going to do. Some of it it's just to be able to accomplish the race. Some of it's like, I just want to run the whole race. Some of it is, I just want to make it up the hill. I mean, whatever it is, you know, we encourage them to set a goal and try to.
Community and participating in a community events. You know, I mean, there's thousands.
Well,
of
as I said in the
runners
paper, one of the things that I encourage them is that when late in the game, when you don't think you got anything left in your tank, you got to find a way to motivate yourself to finish the game.
Yes.
And in the race that allows you to accomplish those things, I just got to make it to that, you know, next spot, whatever spot you pick out, or up the hill, or whatever little goal you make for yourself. You're constantly throughout that race setting those for yourself. So it's a good mental challenge.
Well, it seems like you've set your goals, you've set your sights, and we certainly hope you accomplish everything this year, and we certainly look forward to another entertaining season from the women's basketball team, and thanks for coming by tonight.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Daphne Thompson for coming by this evening, and joining me after the break will be head men's basketball coach Vince Medici.
What's up? This is my friend Rob from Michigan.
What's up?
He's a teenager.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Woo! Hey, you want to slow down there?
No.
Really? Oh, okay.
What are you doing?
We're shooting a viral video. Hold on, I want to see this. Hey, this is his last 5 minutes on Earth. A little something to Mom? Say something to Mom. How about, goodbye, Mom, sorry.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is head men's basketball coach Vince Medici. Welcome to the show, Vince.
Glad to be here, Jeff.
We didn't get to comment on it earlier, but the table and the surroundings is kind of threw me off a little bit. But
yeah, it's a little different than last year, but
so new season. I guess the first question is how do you follow last year? 22-7, school record for wins, NCAA tournament.
It's tough. It's tough to look at that. And what we try to do with the guys is just like, you know, try to teach them it's a new season, it's a new team, and certainly, you know, they've seen that it's attainable. So certainly, I know in their heads that they're going to shoot for it. You know, that's the way they've been practicing, anyways.
Now, from the first meeting, you know, because we'll talk about some of our returning players and the leadership you have there. Is that the number one goal? They want to get back to the NCAA, or do they just want to? Hopefully, they can make it to the SUNY again and take a shot again.
Well, I think you always have those goals that lead up to that. I think the ultimate thing, obviously, I think all the coaches here want to get to NCAA. So, so that's certainly the ultimate goal. But you know, you try to do small steps. You know, try to win the tournaments. Try to win all your non-league games, and then get in your conference and get an opportunity to play for the conference championship like we did last year. And hopefully, that will lead to the NCAA.
Yes. Now, our non-conference schedule last year, we really think that's what got us in.
I think it did, and of course we went undefeated. We won all 7 games. Certainly that helps, and you know we beat a team that went on to win 21 straight games. William Patterson from Jersey. After we beat them, and they were a high seed in the NCAA. So I think that had a lot to do with it, obviously. Yeah.
Now this year's schedule built the same way. Strong non-conference.
Well, you know, when you get in these tournaments, you're not so sure what it's going to be built like. But yeah, we're playing our first game against Nazareth College. Who was an NCAA participant last year. So right away we're playing an in-region team that played in the NCAAs. So yeah, as I look at the schedule, yeah, it's pretty comparable to last year.
And now let's talk about a little bit some of the returning players. We have seniors. We have Troy Talbot, Shane Gillette, Brian Hooks, Derek Hahn. Those are our 4 seniors.
Yeah.
They've had the experience. I mean, Shane and Brian have been 3-year starters for us.
Yeah.
Troy, when he came in, also fits in. He's been starting off the bench.
Yeah.
Derek, nice addition last year, coming off the bench to relieve Kevin Walsh and Brian Beckford at times.
Yes.
So how do you think those 4 are looking at this year?
I think they're looking at it that they want to make their own statement, as seniors. They were a huge participant in last year's team. I mean, they contributed quite a bit, obviously, as you know. This year, now they know they're the key guys, and they're going to be starting and playing the majority of the minutes, and they want to kind of make their own history.
Now, Shane and Brian are going to be our 2 captains.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And how are they as leaders, and how do they kind of interact with the other team.
As leaders, I mean, they've always led by example because they've always practiced hard all the time, and they've always been good kids on campus and in downtown and all that kind of stuff. Real good role models for the young kids. They're not too vocal. They have been this year, though. I noticed a little bit more in practice, more comments coming from them to the team about pick it up a little bit and stuff. So I think they're learning their role as they go, but they're two great leaders that have been here for 4 years.
Do you think that's because they feel there's more ownership for them this year because it's their last year?
Yeah, I think so. I think that comes with the territory. You know, when you become a senior, you have that feel that this is my team, kind of thought, and they realize it's their last time too. So everything's urgent now.
Yes. Now the younger players that we brought into the program, we have you have a roster of 16.
Yes.
6 of them are new. 7.
6 are freshmen, and then one is a returner. Took a year off. Played 2 years ago. Terrence Parker.
Oh, okay. Yes, Terrence.
So I consider him semi-new.
Yeah. Now the younger players. Anyone in that group? Maybe as a group, maybe you can talk a little bit about how you think they'll fit role-wise. And
I think all 5 freshmen we brought in, I feel, can compete at this level right away. A couple of them have had injuries where they've kind of put them behind. Rashawn Harrington, and Ryan Clark both had injuries with ankles, so they're a little behind in learning everything. But their abilities will definitely be able to play at this level. The other 3 freshmen that we recruited in, Kevin Donahue and Dan Lee and Chris Hooks, I feel are ready to compete.
Now Chris Hooks is Brian's brother?
Yes.
How's that dynamic?
It's interesting. The older brother does not help the younger brother, just so we know. We went through this with registration the other day. I said, you didn't help him? He goes, no, he needs to learn on his own, Coach. I'm like, good. So,
okay.
But they do have a good relationship together, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's fun.
Right.
Having them both there. We don't know who to call Hooksy.
Yeah.
So it makes it difficult.
Similar player?
Very similar. Yeah, Chris can shoot the ball just like Brian. I hate to make comparisons, but I mean,
right.
Chris is a little bit stronger than Brian was as a freshman, and so we'll see how it goes. Brian and they get along well though, but it's interesting having
right.
2 guys from the same family.
Right, yeah. and many of our teams do. I mean, wrestling has a couple of brother tandems, and some of our other teams, the women's soccer, the DeSimone sisters,
right,
and
right.
one of them was just Rookie of the Year. So I mean, obviously it pays off. But I mean, did Chris think that SUNY Oneonta was going to be his choice?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I've known Chris for many years. It's crazy. I coached him when he was in 2nd grade, 3rd grade stuff. When we were doing youth, he's friends with my son, so they played youth athletics together. So their father, Bill, and I used to coach through Little League and basketball. So I've known him for a long time, and I think that connection and with Brian's experience here, I think it was a perfect fit.
Right, right. And when we talk about the overall experience, I mean, the Division III philosophy is the whole experience, the academics, athletics, the social life that goes on campus and off
Definitely.
campus. How do you try to fit that into your philosophy of our program?
Well, we want them to enjoy college. I mean, they only go for 4 years, hopefully.
Right.
That's their timetable.
Right.
As a parent, that's what we're hoping
Right.
for. I just feel that you want them to experience, though. So I don't put a lot of pressure on them in the preseason. I mean, they have their workouts and stuff like that, but I don't get involved in their weekends. I want them to enjoy college life for what it's worth. And,
Right.
and then, we get in our season, and, it's more just academics and you're focused on your basketball. And then at the end of the season, we give them some time off to, I guess, enjoy college again. And because it's a demanding thing to be a student athlete.
Right. Well, in basketball, the winter season, not just for basketball, but for wrestling, swimming, I mean, it's like 6 months long.
Yeah, it seems like it lasts forever.
Yeah,
It really does.
and you get like 3 weeks off there where, after your finals and you go home for a little bit, you come back, you play, you start playing again. How do you deal with that as a coach when you have those starts and stops and you're gearing up?
It's difficult. I think the only way you look at it is everybody else is kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
And that's how you deal with it. It's hard. You hope the kids, then when they go home, they'll continue to do the workouts that you ask them to do and try to stay in the best shape they can. And then you try to get them back as soon as you can to try to prepare for your conference.
Right. Now the transition, we have quite a big group of freshmen. What kinds of things do you do to help them acclimate themselves to college life? And do you rely on your seniors? Although we already know that Brian's not helping Chris.
No, he's not. We try to help our upperclassmen, obviously, give them some guidance.
Right.
My freshmen have been a lot of fun because there has been some times where I had to step in and kind of direct them in the right way to go, things to do, what to do.
Right.
They take it in stride, and we have fun with it as a team. But I think lately they've been starting to take the role of understanding that it's up to them to do it. They're not home anymore; they're on their own. Mom and Dad aren't waking them up to go to class and do those things. So I think that they're growing up pretty quick now. Now that we're in season, I think the first 8 weeks where we're in preseason, things are a little dicey because you're not with them. Yeah. But now that you're with them every day, you can kind of guide them a little bit better.
Right. Yeah. Now we have another tournament in December.
Yeah. New Year's Day we leave here.
Oh, okay.
We're going to Washington and Lee down in Virginia.
Washington and Lee.
Yeah, and we're actually playing another in-region team, Wells College, in the first round.
Okay.
And, so that's probably a good thing, playing an in-region team. So.
Now we went down there. We went down there a couple years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, we did about 3 years ago. We went down. Didn't fare so well.
Okay, so we're taking a shot at it. I guess.
We're going back to try it again.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, like you said, last year we won all the, we won all the in-season tournaments that we had, and certainly that helped build the momentum as we went into the second half of the season. Because
Definitely.
When we had you on the show last year, I mean, we had talked about, and now do you kind of temper your excitement because one of the goals obviously you wanted to do well, and the kids thought they could make the NCAA tournament, and we ended up making the NCAA tournament. Do you try to get excited about saying, yes, we can do this, or do you kind of let and see how it starts to build?
Yeah. Well, I think you want confidence in your team. So,
right.
you're not going to – I'd never go in and say, okay, we're going to win every game. We certainly focus on each game, and we think we can win every game, but we prepare like, we have to prepare. You're not going to just walk into a game and win. And that's sometimes when you tell kids, you guys should win this game or you should, win this many games. They just assume they don't have to work for it. They think coach is just going to win games.
Right.
So we instill in them that it's a work ethic that really gets you those wins.
Right.
And we try to take it one game at a time. And we certainly, I don't think I've ever went into coaching a game thinking I was going to lose.
Right.
So, and that's what you try to instill in your players. Right. No matter what is on paper or whatever people say, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You still have to play the game. So one at a time is what we're looking at.
Yeah. And their commitment to that philosophy and trying to make it work is how you kind of fit them all together with your senior leaders. And
yeah, this group of guys, and I've been coaching the head coach for 15 years, this group of guys has been clearly the hardest working group in practice that I've ever coached.
Well, that's good because if they work in practice.
You hope that'll translate to wins in the games.
Because usually it's the other way. You have those guys who really don't like to practice and they show up on game day, and then of course you got the ones who don't like to practice and it doesn't show up on game day.
Right. So we're treading lightly. We were practicing hard, and hopefully that will translate into wins.
Now our SUNYAC schedule, Plattsburgh looks like they could be the front runner early on, the defending SUNYAC champion. Yeah. Any other teams in there in the mix this year that we?
Well, I think there's a few teams. Oswego has everyone back from their team, and we played them in the quarterfinals. Yeah. I think New Paltz has their team intact as well. I think Buff State's always a team that you're going to reckon with. They just have so many great athletes, and they're so deep. And the one thing about the SUNYACs, from last year, there was one point in the season, if you were in first place or in 10th place, it was 2-game differential.
Right.
So, if you went on a 2-game losing streak and you were in first, you could easily be 10th by the end of the weekend. So that's with that said, the teams I mentioned obviously are probably on the top of the list, but I certainly think that anybody in our league can be very good.
Right. I mean, the SUNYAC tournament seems to be even more competitive than the regular season because, a few years ago, New Paltz they almost won the whole thing.
Right.
Oh, no, Brockport won the whole thing as the number 8 seed.
Yes,
they knocked off 1-4. They just got rolling.
Yeah, they did.
So we know that it's always a tough schedule. We talked about some of the newcomers. Any of them you think might get some early season playing time?
Well, I think my sophomore class were Terrence's and Dan McLaren and Cameron Boyden, I think are going to contribute quite a bit to start out.
Right.
I think they've really worked hard and they're prepared. Even though Terrence took last year off, you can see that he's improved his game and gotten better. In the freshman class, I think right now Dan Lee and Kevin Donahue probably, right now are a little bit above the rest of the guys.
Okay.
Kind of prepared to play.
And that NCAA experience you think was really probably very valuable for your sophomore class. Those guys got to experience it and kind of see it firsthand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they had a taste of it. I know Dan McLaren had big minutes in the Plattsburgh championship game, and so I think, and Cameron played great all year until he came down with mono that last month. So kind of put them behind the 8 ball when it came to playoffs. But I think they had a lot of experience, and I think they learned a lot from Kevin and Brian and Mike. 3 guys that contributed obviously a lot to last year's success, and I think they learned a lot from them when it comes to preparing for the games and being in the games.
Well, we certainly wish you all the best this season, and another NCAA tournament at the end, we hope.
We can all hope so.
Well, thanks
we'll
for
work
coming
hard
by
for
tonight.
it. All right. Thanks
I'd
a lot,
like to
Geoff.
thank my guest, Vince Medici, for coming by, and also Daphne Thompson for talking a little basketball this evening. And just to remind you, they do open their seasons on November 19th and 20th at their respective tournaments. And always, please check OneontaAthletics.com for the latest information about what's going on in SUNY Oneonta Athletics. I'd like to thank you this week for joining us, and please join me next week on Inside Red Dragon Sports.